In the frozen depths of Alaska, a small town nestled in the heart of the wilderness harbored a dark secret. The townsfolk whispered of a legendary creature that roamed the forests, preying upon unsuspecting souls who dared to venture into its territory. The creature, known as the Wendigo, was said to be a cursed being, hungering for human flesh to satisfy its insatiable appetite. Among the residents of the town was a man named Jacob. He was a loner, haunted by the untimely death of his wife in a tragic accident. Seeking solace, he delved into the folklore of the region, fixating on the tales of the Wendigo. The more he read, the more intrigued and obsessed he became. He yearned for closure and a chance to confront the monster that had plagued his dreams. Driven by an insatiable curiosity mixed with madness, Jacob decided to embark on a treacherous journey into the heart of the wilderness. Armed with only a map, a rifle, and a flickering lantern, he ventured deeper into the uncharted territory where the Wendigo was rumored to reside. Days turned into weeks as Jacob pressed forward, his mind slowly unraveling in the isolation and bitter cold. He encountered signs of the Wendigo's presence, ominous footprints in the snow, eerie howls that echoed through the trees, and an ever-present sense of being watched. But he refused to turn back. Determination and a twisted desire for vengeance propelled him forward. As the winter storm intensified, Jacob found himself lost in a labyrinth of towering trees and blinding snowfall. Panic set in as the bitter cold began to gnaw at his body. But he couldn't give up. He was on the verge of uncovering the truth, or so he believed. One fateful night, Jacob stumbled upon a cave, a dark gaping maw in the side of a snow-covered hill. Ignoring every instinct that screamed at him to turn away, he cautiously entered the abyss. The air grew frigid and suffocating as he descended deeper into the bowels of the earth. Within the cavern's icy embrace, Jacob finally came face to face with the Wendigo. Its hulking figure loomed in the shadows, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly hunger. The monster's breath was a frozen mist, and the stench of decay filled the air. Jacob raised his rifle, his hands trembling with a mixture of fear and anticipation. He squeezed the trigger, the sound of the gunshot shattering the eerie silence. But to his horror, the bullet merely ricocheted off the creature's icy hide, as if it were impervious to harm. In that moment, the Wendigo lunged at Jacob, its claws tearing through his flesh like paper. Agonizing pain consumed him, and he realized the grim truth. He had become just another meal for the insatiable beast. As his life force drained away, Jacob's final moments were filled with regret and despair. He had sought closure and vengeance, but instead he had sealed his own fate. The Wendigo devoured his body, leaving nothing behind but a chilling tale that would be whispered in the town for generations to come. And so, in the remote reaches of Alaska, the legend of the Wendigo claimed yet another victim, a man who had dared to confront the darkness, only to succumb to its cruel embrace. In the heartland of China, amidst mist-covered mountains and ancient temples, a small village held a dark secret. Legends whispered of a vengeful spirit known as the White Lotus, who haunted the region. It was said that the spirit possessed the ability to lure unsuspecting souls into its clutches, offering them forbidden desires in exchange for their eternal servitude. Among the villagers was a young lady named Li Mei. She was known for her beauty and ambition, yearning for a life beyond the boundaries of the small village. But as fate would have it, her aspirations led her down a treacherous path. Driven by an insatiable hunger for power, Li Mei sought forbidden knowledge from the village elders. In her desperation, she stumbled upon a hidden scroll, said to contain the secrets of immortality. Ignoring the warnings of the elders, she delved into the dark arts, hoping to harness the forbidden powers. As Li Mei delved deeper into the forbidden teachings, a darkness began to consume her. She became obsessed with her own reflection, her desires spiraling out of control. The whispers of the White Lotus spirit reached her ears, promising her eternal beauty and dominion over the village. One fateful night, guided by the whispers, Li Mei ventured into the forbidden forest, where she was met by the apparition of the White Lotus. Its ethereal form glowed in the moonlight, a chilling smile etched across its face. The spirit made a sinister pact with Li Mei, offering her beauty beyond her wildest dreams. In exchange, she would surrender her soul and serve as a vessel for the vengeful spirit. Driven by her insatiable ambition, Li Mei agreed without hesitation. With each passing day, Li Mei's beauty grew, but so did the darkness within her. Her reflection became distorted, her once vibrant eyes now empty and soulless. The villagers noticed her transformation, sensing the sinister presence that emanated from her. Fear and suspicion spread like wildfire through the village. Whispers of an evil enchantress filled the air, and the villagers began to plan their escape from the clutches of the White Lotus. Desperate to rid themselves of the malevolent spirit, they devised a plan to confront Li Mei and exorcise the darkness within her. One moonlit night, the villagers gathered around Li Mei's house, armed with talismans and ancient incantations. They chanted in unison, invoking the power of the gods to banish the vengeful spirit from their midst. The air crackled with an otherworldly energy as they closed in on Li Mei, determined to save their village. But as the incantations reached a crescendo, a blinding light engulfed Li Mei's house. The ground beneath them trembled, and a blood-curdling scream pierced the night. The White Lotus spirit, enraged by the villagers' defiance, unleashed its wrath upon them. One by one, the villagers were torn apart, their bodies twisted and broken by an invisible force. The air was thick with the stench of death, and the once serene village became a graveyard of broken dreams. Li Mei, now consumed entirely by the spirit, emerged from the chaos, her form an unholy amalgamation of beauty and terror. She had become the instrument of the White Lotus, forever cursed to roam the land, seeking new victims to ensnare and torment. And so, in the heartland of China, the legend of the White Lotus claimed its victims, a village that dared to defy the darkness, only to be devoured by its insatiable hunger. In the vast expanse of the South African wilderness, where the sunsets paint the sky in hues of crimson and gold, a man named Samuel found himself haunted by a mysterious past. He had fled to the remote countryside to escape the demons that tormented his soul. But little did he know that a far more sinister force awaited him. Samuel had always been drawn to the supernatural, fascinated by the ancient legends and folklore of his homeland. Deep in the heart of the bush, he stumbled upon an old dilapidated hut, a place rumored to be a portal to the spirit realm. Driven by curiosity and a desperate desire for answers, he stepped inside, unknowingly unleashing a malevolent force that would forever change his life. As the night fell, the air grew heavy with an unnatural stillness. Samuel's dreams turned into nightmares, his sleep plagued by visions of shadowy figures and eerie whispers that echoed through his mind. Every waking moment became an exercise in paranoia, his senses heightened by an unseen presence that stalked him relentlessly. Determined to unravel the mystery, Samuel delved into ancient texts and consulted with local shamans, seeking guidance in the face of this relentless torment. The answers he received were grim. A powerful ancestral spirit had been disturbed, enraged by his intrusion into its domain. The spirit, known as the Ebon Specter, demanded retribution for the intrusion. As days turned into weeks, Samuel's sanity began to crumble under the weight of his fears. Dark shadows danced at the corners of his vision, his reflection in the mirror twisted and distorted. The lines between reality and nightmare blurred, and he became a prisoner within his own mind. In a final act of desperation, Samuel returned to the haunted hut, armed with sacred relics and protective charms. He hoped to appease the Ebon Specter, to make amends for his unwitting transgressions. But as he entered the dilapidated structure, he was greeted by an overwhelming malevolence that seemed to permeate every inch of the hut. The Ebon Specter materialized before Samuel, a towering figure cloaked in darkness. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly intensity as it unleashed a torrent of wrath upon him. The protective charms proved futile, shattering against the spectral force. Samuel's screams of terror were drowned out by the cacophony of the spirit's vengeance. In that desolate hut, Samuel met his grisly end, consumed by the very force he had unwittingly awakened. The Ebon Specter claimed his soul, trapping it within its realm for eternity, a cautionary tale whispered in the depths of the South African wilderness. And so, the man from South Africa became a tragic figure, forever entwined with the vengeful spirit that had haunted his existence. His tale would be recounted by those who dared to venture near the haunted hut, a chilling reminder of the consequences that await those who meddle with forces beyond their understanding. Thanks for watching today's video. Please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. It really helps us out. And until next time, stay safe and never wander too far from the light.